Let's be honest. If you live in Miami, you've probably used Uber or Lyft. They're just part of how we get around. But have you ever stopped to think about what happens if that super convenient ride ends in a crash? It's not just a simple car accident. Oh no. It's this complex web of rules and insurance policies. So in this explainer, we're going to untangle that whole mess for you.
So let's just cut right to the chase. You're in a crash involving a rideshare. Doesn't matter if you're the passenger, a pedestrian, or even the driver in the other car. The biggest question, the one that's going to keep you up at night, is always the same. Who pays for all this? And believe me, the answer is not straightforward. It all starts with understanding one really key difference.
All right, so Section 1. This is a different kind of crash. On the surface, it looks just like any other car accident, right? 2 cars, some damage, but there is a crucial difference under the hood that changes absolutely everything. And it all boils down to the driver's legal status with the company. And here it is, the magic words: independent contractor. You see, unlike, say, a UPS driver who's an employee of the company, your Uber or Lyft driver is technically self-employed. And that little detail? It means the rideshare company's responsibility isn't automatic. Liability basically becomes this moving target that totally depends on what the driver was doing in the app at the exact moment of the crash. Okay, so how in the world do we track that moving target? Well, it all comes down to what we call the 3 periods of a rideshare trip. Seriously, if you can understand these 3 stages, you've got the key to unlocking which insurance policy is actually on the hook. Everything, and I mean everything, hinges on this one thing: the driver app's status. We have to know, was the app off? Was the driver online just waiting for a ride? Or were they on their way to pick someone up? The answer to that one question literally changes everything that comes next. So here's how it all breaks down. You've got period 1. The driver's app is off. They're just driving their own car for personal reasons. In that case, their personal insurance is responsible. Simple enough. Then you've got period 2. Now the app is on. They're online, waiting for a ping. This is where the rideshare company's limited coverage kicks in. And then there's period 3. That's when a ride is active, and that is when the big policy comes into play. So let's zoom in on period 2 for a second. The driver's available, but they don't have a passenger yet. In this little window, Uber and Lyft provide some liability coverage. We're talking up to 50 grand for one person's injury, 100 grand total per accident. Now that's more than a lot of personal policies for sure, but trust me, it's not the main event. But the second that driver taps accept on your ride request, or the moment you get into that car, everything changes. The whole game shifts. We are now officially in period 3, and the insurance protection gets a massive upgrade. $1 million. That's not a typo. That is the size of the commercial liability policy that Uber and Lyft carry for an active trip. It's a huge number, and it's designed to cover serious injuries and major damages, protecting you, the passenger, and really anyone else on the road when something goes wrong on their watch. So what does all this mean for you, the passenger? Well, here's the good news. If you're a passenger, you are almost never at fault for the accident. And because of that, you usually have several different avenues you can explore for seeking compensation for your injuries. As the passenger, you could potentially file a claim against a few different policies. There's the big one, the rideshare's $1 million policy. There's the rideshare driver's own personal insurance. And of course, there's the insurance of the other driver if they were the one who caused the crash. The real challenge is figuring out which door to knock on, or maybe which combination of doors is the right one to pursue. Okay, but just when you think you've got it figured out, we have to remember where we are. We're talking about Miami, which means we have to add another layer to this whole thing: Florida's very specific auto insurance laws. And yeah, they add a pretty interesting twist to the whole process. This is where something called personal injury protection, or PIP, comes into the picture. You see, Florida is a no-fault state, so what that means is that your own car insurance is often the very first place you have to turn for your initial medical bills. It's designed to get your immediate expenses covered quickly, without having to wait to figure out who is at fault. So what does PIP actually cover? Well, typically, it's 80% of your medical bills and 60% of any lost wages, up to your policy limit, which for most people is about $10,000. But here's the really important catch. You have to get medical treatment within a very strict time frame, or you might not qualify for any of those benefits at all. Now this right here, this is the gatekeeper of the entire Florida system. If you want to go beyond your own PIP benefits and actually sue the at-fault driver for things like pain and suffering, your injury has to meet a legal definition of serious,
We're talking about things like a permanent injury, significant disfigurement, or losing a major bodily function. It's a high bar to clear.
Phew! We have covered the rules, the periods, the policies, a lot of info. But what should you actually do in the moments after an accident? Let's walk through a playbook to make sure you protect yourself.
Okay, this 5-step plan is absolutely critical. Step 1, and this is non-negotiable. Get medical care. It's vital for your health, and it documents your injuries. 2, call the police and get an official report. 3, if you're able to, take pictures of everything, the cars, the scene, your injuries. 4, use the Rideshare app itself to officially report the crash. And finally, step 5, be so careful about giving a recorded statement to any insurance company without getting some legal advice first. Every single one of these steps creates an essential piece of the puzzle for your case.
So, there you have it. The system is complicated. You've got different insurance periods, you've got Florida's no-fault law, you've got multiple billion-dollar companies involved. And knowing the rules of the game is one thing, but being prepared to actually use them in the chaos and confusion right after a crash, that is a whole different ballgame. It really makes you think, doesn't it? The next time you tap that app for a ride, are you just getting a car, or are you also getting a whole lot of complexity you might not be ready for?